Super Royal Express.
Well, it's a present from Great Grandma. Let's go.
Have a great day.
Family, today we are going to talk about something deeply powerful, something that cuts right to the heart of who Prince Harry is, and why no amount of tabloid nastiness, no smear campaign, no jealous sibling or salty royal rota hack can diminish his light. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, once again reminded the world exactly why he is loved, respected and admired, not just in the UK or the United States, but across the globe. This man, our Harry, went from finishing a 4-day visit to the UK straight into Ukraine, a country still fighting for its very survival against Russian aggression. And what did he do there? He didn't go for a photo op. He didn't go for self-serving PR. He didn't go to prop up some outdated monarchy institution. He went to stand with veterans, to hug mothers who have lost their sons, to uplift wounded warriors, and to remind the world of the power of compassion, courage and solidarity. This trip to Ukraine was not announced in advance. It wasn't a stunt. It was an act of love, empathy and true leadership. Prince Harry visited Kiev, where he met with wounded veterans, men and women who have given everything in the fight to defend their homeland. Some of them were Invictus Games athletes, others were soldiers still learning how to adjust to life after severe injuries. And when Harry walked into those rooms, you could feel it. People said the energy shifted instantly. The smiles came out. The veterans lit up. Josh Boggy, who is the international community manager of Invictus and who knows exactly what veterans go through, described the scene. He said the veterans were hugging Harry and Harry was hugging them back. This was no stiff royal handshake, no cold distance. Harry was in his element, smiling, laughing, giving his full attention to each veteran, listening, caring, being present. And that is the Sussex way, authenticity. But then came one of the most powerful and emotional moments of the entire trip. Harry met the mother of a former Invictus Games captain, a man who had competed, who had inspired others, and who was later tragically killed in combat. Imagine the weight of that moment. Imagine the heartbreak of that mother, holding in her grief, but also meeting the Duke of Sussex, the very man who created Invictus, who gave her son a platform to shine before his untimely death. Harry didn't just shake her hand. He didn't give some scripted words. He hugged her, a big, warm, heartfelt hug. And that mother, in that embrace, felt not just Harry the prince, but Harry the veteran, Harry the father, Harry the human being. That's why Invictus matters. That's why Harry matters. Because he knows what loss feels like. He knows what service feels like. He knows what it means to give everything and carry scars, visible or invisible. And while the veterans and mothers were embracing him, the people of Kiev were embracing him too. Ukrainian officials described Harry as a symbol of victory and power. Let that sink in. Ordinary people in Kiev, in a war zone, saw Harry not as a tabloid punching bag, not as the caricature the British media tries to paint him as, but as a courageous leader with military experience who wasn't afraid to show up in a place most royals wouldn't dare go. This is where we pause, because family, let's contrast this. Where are the so-called working royals? Where are the ones who are supposed to represent duty, service and the Commonwealth? You see, when it comes to ribbon cutting and photo ops in luxury settings, they are front and centre. But when it comes to showing true bravery, true solidarity, where are they? Silent, hidden, nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Prince Harry walks into a war zone, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. He isn't hiding behind titles. He isn't obsessed with hierarchy. He is out there doing the work, standing alongside soldiers, hugging grieving mothers, and reminding the world that his Invictus Games aren't just some PR event. They are a lifeline, a community, a beacon of hope. Now let's talk about the smear merchants. Oh, you know they will try. They'll twist this. They'll say Harry was grandstanding, or they'll downplay his impact. But the truth is that while they sit in their newsrooms and their palaces trying to spin negative headlines, Prince Harry is on the ground making real change. You can't fake the tears of a mother he hugged. You can't fake the joy on a veteran's face when Harry walked into the room. You can't fake the love, the energy, the humanity. And let's not forget, Harry did this after a trip to the UK that the media tried to frame as controversial, as awkward, as somehow a failure. The reality? Harry's trip to the UK was grounded in purpose, in family, in showing up for his father. And then, instead of jetting off to some luxury resort, he went to Ukraine. This man embodies service, he embodies action, he embodies compassion, and he is showing the world that you don't need a palace or a crown to be royalty. You need courage and heart. And after all that, what did Harry do? He went home to California, to Meghan, to Archie and Lilibet, to celebrate his 41st birthday, surrounded by love, surrounded by family, surrounded by the life he built. And let me tell you, family, that is the greatest victory. To serve the world, to show up for veterans, to comfort grieving mothers, and then to come home to the love of Meghan and their children. That is the true story of Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. So let the haters talk, let the tabloids spin, let the jealous ones stew in bitterness. Because at the end of the day, the world sees Harry for who he is. Ukraine saw him as a symbol of power. Veterans saw him as a brother in arms. That mother saw him as a source of comfort, and Meghan, Archie and Lilibet see him as their hero every single day. And that's why we will keep lifting him up, we will keep defending him, and we will keep calling out the lies and the hypocrisy. Because Prince Harry's legacy isn't written by tabloids, it's written in the lives he touches, the veterans he uplifts, and the people who feel his compassion. Prince Harry comforts mother on Invictus Games captain who was killed in Ukraine, Russia. Or the Duke of Sussex travelled to Ukraine immediately after his 4-day visit to the UK. Prince Harry was involved in an emotional moment during his surprise visit to Ukraine last week. The Duke of Sussex made a short trip to Kiev on Friday where he comforted a mother of a soldier who had been killed in action. Harry was in Ukraine to highlight the work of his Invictus Games Foundation in helping rehabilitate the huge numbers of veterans injured in the defence against Russia's full-scale invasion. In one of the stops of his tour, the Duke met with some of the wounded veterans, some of whom had already competed at the Invictus Games. Prince Harry was described as being in his absolute element during his visit to Ukraine. Vertical bar, Reuters' Josh Boggy, Invictus's international community manager who was accompanying Harry, shared an insight into the emotional nature of the trip. The big takeaway for me was seeing these guys and girls who have been through hell and back and living with their injuries and disabilities and seeing the smiles on their faces when the Duke walked in. He began. Harry was said to give time to everyone and see how they're getting on in their recovery journeys. You could feel the aura in the room when he walked in. He was hugging the veterans and they were hugging him back, Mr. Boggy said. He was in his absolute element in that room, the Invictus official celebrated. One of the most powerful moments during Harry's meeting with the veterans came when he met the mother of a former Invictus Games captain who was later tragically killed in combat. The Duke gave her a big hug, Mr. Boggy recalled. There was a lot of emotion, he said, per People magazine. Mr. Boggy was jubilant with how Harry was received during his time in Ukraine broadly. There was a sense of excitement for the fact he, Harry, was there in Kiev and showing his support for the veterans, he said. He is adored, not just by Ukrainians, but all the military from all the Invictus nations around the world, the Invictus official added. During his trip to the 4-day trip to the UK last week, the Duke was invited to Kiev by Ukrainian Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko and CEO of the Superhumans Trauma Centre in Lviv, Olga Rudnieva. It's amazing. We never expected this level of recognition, Ms. Rudnieva said of Harry's popularity among the people of Kiev. Ordinary people know who he is. We honestly didn't know he had become such a celebrity. I think Prince Harry coming here is a symbol of victory and power. People look at him and his military experience and they see he is not afraid to come to Ukraine. It is so important that he came, she said. After his time in the Kiev, the Duke returned home to California to celebrate his 41st birthday with Meghan Markle and their 2 children, Archie and Lilibet. However, he did leave Ukraine with a hoard of birthday gifts, including one peculiar item. Family. If you're proud of Prince Harry today, if you believe in the Sussex way, if you see the difference between shallow monarchy PR and real-world impact, then I want you to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget, You can support the channel directly through Super Thanks. Every bit helps us keep telling the truth, defending Harry and Meghan, and celebrating the incredible impact they continue to make in this world. This is Royal Sussex Squad. Thank you for being here, thank you for standing with us, and as always, stay blessed, stay strong, and keep standing with Harry and Meghan.